What up, brawlers? Welcome back to Throwing Hands. As Breck and I will be previewing UFC 267, Blachowicz versus Teixeira. What up, brawlers? Welcome back to Throwing Hands. It's Breck and I here. Dude, 2 weeks in a row. This is big for us. It hasn't been consistent, but for the rest of the year, I think we're going to be pretty consistent with these fight cards. But Breck, how you feeling, dude?
Dude, I'm feeling good. We got some of the greatest cards in recent memory coming up.
Yeah, we got 267 this week, 268 next week. We got Yair and Holloway on the 11th. No, the 13th. No, or the 12th, something like that. Doesn't really matter. We have that fight. Then the next week we got Vieta Tate. Okay, that could be better. And then in December, we got Dawkins Lewis, and we got 269 with 2 or 3 title fights. And then Leon Edwards and Masvidal. Breck, I think this is the greatest stretch in UFC history.
You know, it's up there. It's crazy too, because like the year ends and then we just get 270, which is going to be an insane card right now, like early.
And then, but we kick off the year with Cater and Chikadze.
Yeah.
Let's hope Cater has a good mind after that Holloway fight. But anyway, let's get to this card. One fight I want to look at on the prelims is Makwan Amirkhani versus Lerone Murphy. This is a banger. I think people are overlooking. What's your thoughts on this one?
I mean, yeah. I mean, Leon Murphy hasn't lost, right? That's drawn his record.
I think so, yeah.
A young English prospect that is exciting, like you said. And then Makwan Amir, how do you say that last name?
Amirkhani.
Amirkhani. I mean, this should be a really good fight, man. I mean, the featherweight division it has so many good fights.
It's unbelievable. And then we got Hamos versus Tukagov as well. That's another banger. But let's talk about the featured prelim a little bit. We got Amanda Ribas versus Virna Jandiroba. Nice. I think this is a great featured prelim. 2 solid strawweight prospects. Ribas, I think she could contend for a title one day. But this is not an easy fight for Ribas. Interesting fight here. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's tough to call. What's her name? Jandiroba coming off a win and Ribas coming off a loss. This should be a good fight. Amanda Ribas has looked good in the embeddeds. What's it called? Her training's been good. Like you said, this should just be a good fight.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going Ribas by sub. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Ribas TKO.
Solid decision. All right, this main card is just pure violence from top to bottom, and I think this is the perfect way to kick it off. Magomed Ankalaev versus Volkan Oezdemir. Someone's getting knocked out. This is violence.
Yeah.
At its core. Oezdemir has bricks. Ankalaev got bricks. This is a fight if this was a main event, I'd be tuned into this fight night immediately. What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, Ankalaev's a beast. And then Oezdemir, even though he's had the 3 straight losses or 2? I mean, dude, he fought Jiri Prochazka, who's going to be champ soon. He fought Daniel Cormier.
Rakic. Right?
He fought Rakic. He beat Rakic. Dominic Reyes. Dude, he's only fought the top guys. Smith. Dude, he's only fought like some of the best fighters ever.
Misha St. This dude has had no breaks.
Dude, this dude has had no breaks. This fight's gonna be amazing, dude. Like you just said, this is like a fight night main event type fight, and it's on the card. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we got the Swiss Army knife in Oezdemir. We got the Dagestani god in Magomed Ankalaev, whom I think will be contending for a title within the next year. But dude, what's your prediction on this? Someone's getting knocked out, but who's it gonna be?
Dude, I know everybody thinks Ankalaev is winning this fight. I kind of think Oezdemir is winning this fight. He's been in so many battles with like top guys. you look at his striking numbers, he's got more output, and I understand Ankalaev just needs to land one shot. But I just love the competition that Uzdemir's faced. I think prepares him for a moment like this.
I agree, and I think Uzdemir's trying to get. This is his last shot. If he loses this fight, there's no way he's getting back up to the top. So I hope. This is Ankalaev's really first big test outside of Nikita Krylov.
Yeah. So I really like Uzdemir in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Uzdemir too, but I think I don't know. It's so tough to tell. I think I said Ankalaev yesterday in another video I did with Bloody Canvas, but that's really all I can think of. But anyway, this next fight, it's either going to be a wrestle fest for Chimaev or Chimaev's going to get knocked the hell out by Li Jingliang. Did you notice in the press conference that Chimaev understood what he was saying in Chinese?
I saw that. He's like, translate wrong, brother. I don't know. People are saying he might have been accurate too, that he was correct in pointing out the mistake.
But what's your thoughts on this fight?
Dude, there's only one outcome. I'm sorry. Chimaev is going to destroy this guy either wrestling and submit him or knock him out.
What makes you say that? He hasn't fought anybody the level of Li Jingliang yet.
Okay, Li Jingliang has like 4 losses. He can be beat. And dude, I was just watching clips of some of his fights. Dude, he's been dropped a few times.
Yeah.
By guys that I don't think are as talented as Hamzat.
That's true.
And I think if Lee wants to make it a wrestling match, I think he loses. And I think if he wants to make it up a stand-up fight, I think he loses. Dude, Hamzat's the wolf, bro.
Boars.
He's the wolf.
All right. This is an interesting fight, but I think Chimaev has to respect Li Jingliang's hands a lot and not shoot errantly or anything like that. Because if he gets caught, he could be very well on his way to the shadow realm.
True.
So this is an exciting fight. I'm amped for this fight. What's your thoughts, man? What's your prediction?
Chimaev, 3rd round, KO.
I'm going Chimaev arm triangle in the 2nd round.
Oh, interesting.
It's going to be interesting. I know, very specific.
Chimaev, just because also you got to factor in he's been off for so long. It's like, it's probably a good thing he took off all that time considering his health.
I mean, the dude almost died from COVID.
It was pretty bad for him because he was the problem with what he did was he kept training and then your immune system never gets a break, so you're always sick. So he got really bad COVID. He's been off for a while. He looks in great shape in the embeddeds. I think this guy is I think he could be a top, I mean, everybody's saying like future champ, but he will be a top 3 guy within a year, I feel like. Top 5 guy.
If Chimaev finishes this within the 1st round, he'll fight again by the end of the year. There's no question.
He might fight twice by the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's Chimaev, but I'm going to go, yeah, so we both got Chimaev. This is the only kind of sleeper on the card, but it's a banger. This could be a main event as well. Alexander Volkov versus Marcin Tybura. Hey, Volkov, I'm going to look at you right now, man. Just shave the head, man. You just shave the head. Yeah, I love you to death. I'm doing this for you, bro. Like, you've tried to cover it up. Just own it, dude. Trust me. I mean, I'm not going bald, but I'm just letting you know, bro. But anyway, and Volkov, I think you could be a champ one day. Anyway, I think Volkov takes this fight. I think this Marcin Tybura streak is kind of a fib because he hasn't really fought anybody of prominence during this streak. He's fought Ben Rothwell, Greg Hardy, Walt Harris. I mean, Walt Harris could have won that fight quite easily, but he blows it. Max Grishin and Sergey Spivak.
Crazy, he fought 4 times last year. That's crazy.
Yeah, good for him, but I don't think that Alexander Volkov against Cyril Gane, that did not look like Alexander Volkov. He wasn't doing any teep kicks. He wasn't doing anything, but I feel like Alexander Volkov will win this fight pretty handily. But what do you think, Breck?
I agree. I think Tybura's on a really good win streak. If you look at Volkov's last, they've beaten a lot of the same people. Don't get me wrong. But Volkov did beat an Overeem, who's probably better than anybody Tybura's faced. And his 2 losses are to Curtis Blades, a superior wrestler, and then Cyril Gane, the guy who's fighting for the belt next. And I mean, the Cyril Gane fight, he didn't get knocked out. He just got, kind of like out.
He got pieced apart.
He got pieced apart from the outside. It was like point fighting, but like you said, I think Volkov's so much more talented. And I think, he's going to correct his mistakes and win this fight. I think he knocks him out.
I think he does too. I think it's going to be a knockout.
People forget Alexander Volkov was piecing up Derek Lewis the entire fight until Derek Lewis landed that elbow to
The right hand, yeah.
To knock him out. And it was it was like 30 seconds left in the fight too.
Yeah, if Volkov had just run away for 30 seconds, he would have won the fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, Volkov knockout. I got a good feeling about it. I like Volkov too. He's a fun fighter to watch.
Yeah, he never has a boring fight.
No, he doesn't.
Not by his own. Like the Curtis Blades fight, you could say maybe it was boring. That's because Curtis Blades is a boring fighter, in my opinion.
Yeah, but hey, he wins, so you got to give it to him, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, next matchup of the evening, Islam Makhachev versus Dan Hooker. Dan's quickly become my favorite fighter, man. I don't care what anybody says. Oh, you're hopping on the train, Jacob. No, he's fun to watch anywhere, anytime, any place. And I love Islam Makhachev. I mean, I wouldn't say he's fun to watch, but he's just so good. You have to respect him. Mm-hmm. But you got to give to Dan here. What do you think about this fight, man?
My heart wants Dan Hooker to win this fight. The MMA community, as most of the MMA community, would love for Dan Hooker to win this fight. But my mind's telling me Islam just out wrestles him. The only thing that is a little silver lining for me is Dan Hooker did win his last fight like 3 weeks ago, mostly using wrestling. You know what I mean? Like he's known as a striker, but he used his wrestling really well in that last fight. I can't remember the guy's name.
Nasrat Hakparast.
Hakparast, yeah, the cheap Kelvin Gastelum.
Great value,
Kelvin Gastelum. It's so tough, man. I just want Dan Hooker to time up a knee on an Islam double leg. That will just be like an unbelievable moment. Even if he loses the fight and he can land a knee and rock him, it would be a great moment. That being said, Dan's pretty good at stopping takedowns. You know what I mean?
Third highest in UFC history, 90.5%.
UFC history. So I don't think Islam's he's obviously gonna land a few. But if Dan can get up and keep it on the feet, he's gonna outstrike Islam Makhachev. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And I think Dan Hooker's grappling is underrated from his back. I wouldn't be surprised. He threw up some submission against Dustin. Now, Dustin's not the grappler Islam Makhachev is, but I feel like Dan Hooker could throw up a leg triangle or something just randomly and possibly choke him out. But with that being said, I think Makhachev gets it done by decision. I want Dan Hooker to win so badly. Breck, I'm sure you can reflect my sentiment, but
yeah. And also too, it's like Dan Hooker trains with some of the best guys in the world. Trains with Volkanovski, trains with Adesanya. And it's like, man, if this guy could win, he'd be such a legend for how he took this fight on basically, I mean, not the shortest of notice, but pretty short notice. Just stayed in the States. It would be awesome. But like you said, Islam decision's probably how it's going to go. And also, dude, we got to point out, Dustin Poirier in his last, 15 fights has basically beaten everybody.
Yeah.
Dan Hooker had him seconds away from being knocked out in the end of the second round.
Yeah, if that second round lasted 5
to 10 seconds longer, Dan Hooker knocks out Dustin Poirier. That's how good of a striker Dan Hooker is.
Dustin said he was out.
Yeah.
Then he just came back to it. Oh, I want Dan Hooker to win so badly.
I know.
I love Dan Hooker. I even tweeted he's my favorite fighter. I root for this guy because he's just so fun to watch.
In the press conference today too, he said he wanted to punt Haspila.
We'll talk about Haspila after the preview rather, because there's some things to discuss. All right. To the Bantamweight Championship, Petr Yan versus Corey Sandhagen. Notice I didn't say interim because this is the real belt. But in all fairness, if Yan didn't knee Sterling and this decision went to Sandhagen, which it very well could, this could very well be the title fight right now.
Yeah.
This is an awesome matchup. I'm beyond excited for this.
It would be Dillashaw Yan, but yeah.
Well, I'm saying the decision could have gone to Sandhagen.
Yeah, I agree. I think he won the fight too.
But this is awesome. This is an awesome fight. Breck, what do you have to say about it?
This is so tough to call, man. Like, you look at Petr Yan's record, the loss, I do not count as that as a loss to Sterling. That's just been a no contest, right?
Yeah.
And then his only other loss on the regional scene of Russia, or whatever, he lost a split decision. He's never been, like, knocked out. I don't know if he's ever really been knocked down. The guy's probably one of the best strikers in the UFC.
Best defense, striking defense in the UFC too.
So underrated. We saw it against Sterling, who's like a renowned wrestler. He couldn't even get him down ever. Those Russian leg sweeps, or whatever, the Thai sweeps, unbelievable. But it's so scary. But if there's a guy who could beat Petr Yan, dude, I feel like Corey Sandhagen's the guy.
I agree.
For that reach advantage, right? Don't you think the reach is?
I don't even think it's the reach. I think Corey Sandhagen's foot movement is so unorthodox.
So good. Yeah, it's so unorthodox. Kind of Dominic Cruz-esque, not like the side to side, but like you said, the unorthodox.
And it's gonna be so, dude. I'm having so much trouble figuring out, like, Petr Yan. I mean, I will say Corey Sandhagen hasn't faced a pressure fighter like Petr Yan.
No.
But Petr Yan hasn't faced a guy with movement like Corey Sandhagen. And
the reach.
Yeah, if Corey Sandhagen can keep Yan on the outside, I think he wins this fight. But the thing is, Petr Yan will, even if he's up against the fence, will just march forward and get out.
Yeah, Petr Yan's strategy in fights is terrifying. He's like the Terminator. He's slow build, and then once the 3rd through 5th round comes in, he's just all go. Usually gets the knockout. Dude, I have a weird feeling about this fight. Everybody thinks Yan's winning. I kind of think Sandhagen's going to sneakily win, dude. That's my feeling. It's my gut feeling.
If Sandhagen doesn't get it done within the first 2 rounds, Petr Yan's going to win this fight.
Probably. But Sandhagen's really, he picks his shots real well. That Dillashaw fight, dude, even if you thought Dillashaw won, he won by a razor-thin margin. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that, as much as we love Frankie Edgar, that knee was gorgeous.
Yeah. And the head kick, wheel kick KO to Marlon Moraes. Dude, he's so good.
It's, I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this fight.
Can it be a draw? Like,
all right, Breck, what's your prediction?
Dude, I think Sandhagen gets it done. That sounds crazy. It's not.
It's not crazy. That's the thing.
Everybody's predicting Yan though. So even though, dude, Petr Yan's built different though. That's the one scary. Like, that guy is just built different. You know what I mean?
You know, I watching those Aljo highlights again. Like, Petr Yan didn't even do anything with the takedowns. He just got him to the ground, so he'd have to get back up and get tired. And I feel like if Corey Sandhagen's jab is going to be the most important thing in this fight.
Yes.
Because if he can't keep Petr Yan off of him, and if Petr Yan grabs a hold of him, sweeps him, he's going to get tired, and then he's going to get killed.
Yeah.
I mean, Corey Sandhagen has to keep that jab out there the whole time, or else he's going to get killed.
That's where the reach plays a big factor.
Yeah.
Dude, I really like Sandhagen. That's contrary to a popular opinion, but I like Sandhagen.
And that Sandhagen loss against Aljamain Sterling, that was a fluke.
Yeah, he's just got his back taken early. That could happen to anybody.
And I think Corey Sandhagen's grappling is underrated too. This is awesome. Let's just put that out there.
Corey Sandhagen tore Dillashaw's ACL.
Yeah.
With that, knee bar that he had him in the second round.
You know what? All right. I'm going with my prediction. I'm having a tough time, dude. I don't know. I'm going Petr Yan by 5th round knockout. TKO. He's not going to knock him the hell out, but
yeah,
TKO.
That's how it probably plays out, but who knows?
I don't know. These guys are both fun to watch. It's going to be a great fight.
It's going to be a great fight. That's a we can agree.
If they made this the main event, I wouldn't blame them. But speaking of the main event, legendary Polish power versus Glover Teixeira.
I go to Poland.
I go back to Poland. I spend time with family.
Yep.
But two guys with late career resurgences. I don't want any of these guys to lose. I like them both. They're both the nicest people ever.
This is the wholesome belt, you know?
The wholesome belt, the NMF belt.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on this, man?
As much as I love Glover, Jan will be still champion after this fight. I just look at Glover's resurgence, not to disrespect the opponents Glover's faced in his little resurgence. They're just not at the level, to me at least, as the level that Jan has beaten in his last 5-6 fights. Like, look at the last 5 Jan fights. Luke Rockhold, former champion. Jacare Souza, an absolute legend. Corey Anderson, could win the Bellator belt and had beaten Jan previously. Dominic Reyes for the belt, and then he beat Adesanya. That victory was so massive. Like, people don't talk about how good Jan was that night. Like,
I mean, you wouldn't know by the commentary. Oh, Jan's eating these feints.
Yeah, Jan's eating these feints. Like, it was so biased towards Adesanya. I love that commentary team. You don't, I know. But they were so wrong on that night. Like, Jan, yes, he did win because of those couple, like 2 or 3 takedowns, but he also kind of outstruck Adesanya that night, which basically has never happened in his UFC career.
What happened with Blachowicz and Adesanya that night? Blachowicz, the only way, if Izzy threw a feint, every time he just take 2 steps back.
Yeah.
Because if he bit on it like normally, he get his butt destroyed. And yeah. I feel like that was a perfectly executed game plan too. It was gorgeous.
Dude, Jan's jab, when it landed too, like it was so much more powerful than the middleweight jabs that Izzy is so used to, and he was stunned by the power.
It was a gorgeous performance, but back to this fight. Here's what Jan Blachowicz has to do. If he knocks Glover Teixeira down, he's going to have him stand back up, because if Jan Blachowicz gets into that guard of Teixeira, he's going to get submitted. I'm sorry.
He might, because you look at Thiago Santos knocked down Glover.
Yeah, and Santos went to the ground and then he got submitted.
He went to the ground and got submitted. You're right. That could very much play. Like, Jan has good jiu-jitsu, good wrestling, but if Thiago Santos can get submitted, so can Jan.
Yeah, and here's the thing: Glover Teixeira's wrestling is not that good. He's not going to take Jan Blachowicz down.
Yeah, maybe he catches a leg and takes him down, but besides that, he's not going to shoot a double leg and take him down like a good wrestler would.
Yeah, because Glover Teixeira's takedown accuracy is only 40%. Jan Blachowicz' takedown defense is 60%.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't be in Glover's best interest to do that. And if Blachowicz catches him with a knee, which I could actually very well see happening if he does that, it's night for Glover Teixeira.
And did you look back too, like Jan's last 10 fights, nine out of 10 fights he won. I mean, he got knocked out by Thiago Santos, who just lost to Glover. But then again, that 2019 Thiago Santos was a different beast. That guy took John Jones to the limit.
Yeah,
I just think Jan's reign is not over. And for the sake of our perfectly constructed, well thought out, amazing fight that we need to see on the border of Poland and the Czech Republic between Jan Blachowicz and Yuri Prochazka.
In a soccer stadium.
And like they come from and there needs to be woods nearby. So like each fighter could come out of the woods from either side with like shields and swords and stuff. That's what we need to see. So
precisely.
Jan has to win for that reason alone.
And I just don't see Glover getting past legendary Polish power.
No, I think, you know how I think this fight ends? I think it ends very similar to the Gustafsson fight. I think Jan clips him with an uppercut that rocks him, and then that's how he ends the fight.
Or like 3 uppercuts.
Yeah.
Dude, this is all right. Prediction time, Breck. What do you have, man?
Jan TKO, 3rd round.
Jan 2nd round knockout, left hook.
And then it sets us up for the perfect. Dude, can you imagine Yuri Prochazka comes out of the woods with fog, like there's fog, and then you just see a figure appear. It's Yuri Prochazka. He unleashes that scream. If you're an MMA fan, you know the scream I'm talking about.
I get chills every time I hear it. I'm not even gonna lie.
I get actual goosebumps. It's like he's talking to like Nordic gods. You know what I mean? Like it's like he's speaking to Odin himself. And then Jan comes out of the other side of the forest, dressed in full, like
bear fur something.
Yeah, like bear fur, and he's got like red. He's got the Polish flag all over his body, and he's just got the rope. If you're an MMA fan, you know the story behind the rope, which
he had the rope on at the press conference today.
Insane. Yeah, he has got the little piece. He comes with the rope. This is the fight we need to see next year, and I think we will see it because Jan's going to win this weekend.
And it's dude. This is an awesome card.
It's so good. It's free.
And next week is even better.
Next week's like, this is not hyperbole, people. Next week's card is the greatest card maybe ever. So it's definitely a top 3 card ever. Now, maybe it doesn't deliver, but just on paper, how is it not going to deliver?
I mean, let's take a look at this this main card real quick. We're going to go over the fights. To open up the main card, we got Edgar and Marlon Vera.
Amazing.
Then we got Burgos and Quarantillo.
Ridiculously amazing fight as well.
Gaethje and Chandler.
Best fight of the year coming in.
Namajunas and Zhang.
Rose is going to win again, but great fight.
And Usman and Colby Covington.
Like we said last week or 2 weekends ago, whatever it was, that's the bad blood in that fight is the most real since Jones Cormier.
Yeah. And then the next week we got Holloway Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's
week after.
What's crazy about that 268, just to go back for a second, is like that was the main card. The prelims could be a fight night.
Oh, easily. And then after the Vieira Misha Tate fight, we got Font versus Aldo to kick off December.
Oh, can't wait.
Dude, that's
such a big fight too, dude, because like that's it. If Aldo does not win, he's not getting near the belt again.
Yeah. Oh, Alex Pereira is headlining the prelims with Michailidis.
That should be a fun one.
And Ally Quinto, Bobby Green, Phil Hawes, Chris Curtis, Shabazi, and Imamov. Dude, this is awesome.
Is Strickland still fighting on the card?
What'd you say?
Is Strickland fighting somebody on the card yet?
No, he's not fighting.
I really wanted to see Rockhold fight because I think he would have.
Speaking of Sean Strickland, this guy is concerning.
Concerning, very concerning.
I have homicidal tendencies. I'm like, hey, look, I understand you're a fighter, but I think you might want to get that checked out. I'm not too certain, but
he might, yeah.
Speaking of somebody who needs to get checked out, Mike Perry checked out of the UFC and signed with BKFC. Breck, what's your thoughts on that?
For somebody with the two things, somebody with the level of IQ that Mike Perry has, bare knuckle boxing is perfect for Mike Perry. Not the smartest guy. 2, it's a real shame because the guy had real talent to be a really top 10 MMA fighter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he really did. In terms of his striking, dude, his wrestling was getting better.
He just had no discipline.
He had no discipline. And 2, he was never with a good gym. And, like, you saw, like, yeah, he won a fight with, like, his girlfriend cornering the fight, which was everybody was like, oh, that's great. But then what happened in the next couple of fights? He did get a corner, but if Mike Perry was disciplined and was at an ATT or like a Sanford.
He was at MMA Masters with Colby Covington.
Okay, but like, is that a top gym? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he was at one of those top, like one of those premier gyms, I just think that guy could have been really good.
Yeah, like Elevation or something like that. Like
Extreme Couture, really good fighters out of there.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, but Holloway and McGregor might be fighting.
Yeah, in March. I don't think March. I think Conor, it's too.
It's possible. Well, here's the thing. Paul George had the same injury basically.
Yeah. And
he came back in March.
Well, do the timelines match up? Like,
yeah.
8 months?
Yeah. McGregor got injured a month earlier.
Okay.
It could work.
It could work. I just think it'll probably be April, just because they'll want to have it like I don't know, be like a big spring card or maybe even in the summer time.
Yeah. I see these people saying, "Oh, McGregor's gonna get killed." I'm like, I don't think he'd get killed.
It's a striking battle. It'll be a great fight.
Dude, it'll be so much fun.
Like if Conor gets to the ground, yeah, he could get killed. But like Max is not taking Conor to the ground. So if it's a straight up like boxing match, basically what it's gonna be, amazing fight. It'll probably go 5 rounds and be like a split decision.
Great fight. Great fight.
But I would love to see it. People forget Conor beat Max Holloway.
Yeah.
People forget, dude. He's had a rough go, okay, but Conor McGregor in his prime was an actually insane fighter.
He was awesome.
The people that disrespect
he moved up to welterweight from featherweight and beat Nate Diaz.
Yeah, and like I understand that he's not making it easy for people to root for him. His recent actions, his ton of recent, like half a dozen things you could point to in the last 5 years. But dude was such a good fighter in his prime, dude.
And, if there's anybody, Dustin Poirier even said this, if there's anybody that can come back, it's got to be Conor.
Yeah, and Dustin's, like, so many people, like, Dustin even said the hardest guy that ever hit me was Conor. Like, the hardest punch he ever took.
Yeah. Speaking of hard punchers, Fedor Emelianenko won on Saturday.
Oh, my God, man. I mean, all due respect, he fought a tomato can.
But still, Fedor's 45.
I understand. But he fought a journeyman fighter who had a little stint in the UFC and then basically has been in Bellator's whole career.
That was the number 2 contender in Bellator heavyweight, though.
That tells you a lot about Bellator.
Yeah. But does Fedor get the title shot? Why not?
Fedor would fight Bader, right?
No, he'd fight Bader.
I mean, they kind of have to, right? Like, who else is in the Bellator heavyweight division?
Well, they have an interim champ because Bader was in the Grand Prix.
Yeah.
I don't know who the interim champ is because I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less.
Either. Dude, like I don't know if you're of this opinion, bro. PFL one championship way more entertaining than Bellator.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of PFL, dude, Kayla Harrison's got to get some better competition, or just keep getting the racks on racks on racks of money.
I mean, it would be hard to, what's it called? Blame her for not wanting to win $1 million every year, where she could easily just win the PFL every year. But we got to see her in the UFC. She could beat Amanda Nunes. She could beat Valentina Shevchenko.
I mean, of course she could beat Valentina. They're 3 weight classes apart.
I understand, but I'm saying if she cut down, if it was like a 135 or something.
I don't think Kayla could cut down to 135. That's the thing. She barely made 145 for Invicta.
Okay, but regardless, like maybe they did like a catch weight or something. You know what I mean? But or revive the woman's 145 in the UFC. They took it away. The UFC, like Dana White was like, oh, like she should just worry about herself. Dana White was trying to basically say, I don't want to pay this person the obscene amounts of money that I have to pay her. You know what I mean?
I say just give her the title shot right away.
I think
45.
For 45, I think you give her a top 5 right away. Maybe like a Caitlin Chikugian, who she would just take.
But they're so far apart. Caitlin fights at 120.
Or no, who am I thinking of at 145? Who's the top 5 for 145?
Felicia Spencer.
Who else is there?
Norma Dumont, Aspen Ladd.
Oh my God,
she'd murder Aspen Ladd.
Does Holly Holm fight at 145 anymore?
She was gonna fight Dumont at 145.
See, like if you told me Holly Holm versus Kayla Harrison was a contender fight for Nunes, like that makes sense for me. And then the winner fights Nunes, which would probably, in my opinion, be Kayla Harrison. And then I think you got to give her one fight before the title shot.
Yeah. But Clarissa Shields, what's your thoughts?
Lost her first professional fight since she lost an amateur fight.
Look, I think she's just so good at one thing.
Yeah.
That it's so hard for her to learn everything else.
It's like you said, she's so good at like boxing, and even in the fight, like her jab is so much miles ahead of like every other female's jab. Like,
yeah,
her jab is so good, dude. And her combinations are insane. mean, you understand why she's like a champion in boxing. And it's like you just gotta give her props, dude, for like trying a sport where she doesn't have the training like these people do. And I think over time, if she trains MMA for 3-4 more years, she'll become a PFL champ. You know what I mean? Like, or if she ever makes it to UFC one day, be a ranked fighter. I think she has that type of ceiling just because of her striking. If she can just, just drill wrestling and ground game and just try to keep fights away from the ground and keep standing, she could go far in the sport.
She could. Speaking of somebody who's under a ceiling, Bruce Buffer's not going to be the guy for the numbered card.
It's his first miss since 1996. Isn't that crazy?
I know.
He got COVID, sad. And it's crazy too, is like he did the 2-week quarantine and it's over. So technically he could, I think he might, like, I don't think he could travel, but he says he feels fine. So if it was the old world, he could travel, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. But he said he's going to be in New York.
Yeah, that's what we need. You know what I mean?
But hey, he hasn't missed a pay-per-view yet.
Well, 267 is a pay-per-view not in the US, though. I mean,
no, it's going to be free on BT Sport, I think, because numbered pay-per-views, except for like McGregor cards, are free.
Okay, I thought it was a pay-per-view in Europe, though. No, it's free across the board.
Just a US pay. Let's say it's just US pay-per-views. Bruce Buffer has not missed a US pay-per-view.
Okay, so the streak with a little asterisk still lives, but it's crazy.
What do you think of Ray Cooper last night, man?
Middleweight, right?
Welterweight.
Welterweight.
Dude, that was a big knockout.
Big right hand to drop him. Hawaiian guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked good. I think that's his second straight PFL welterweight win.
Yeah.
And people were like, oh, he'd be a good addition to the UFC's roster. And he would. He'd probably be a ranked fighter between that like 10 and 15 range maybe. But if you're him, man, why leave PFL?
Making a lot of money.
Go for that $3 million next year. You know what I mean? Go for that extra $1 million next year.
Yeah, really. Dude, this is what else? Oh, there was something else. Where's Tony Ferguson, man? Oh, actually, screw that. Kevin Lee doesn't fit in anymore.
Doesn't fit in. It's maybe the saddest day in this podcast's recent memory. I mean, since we lost Daniel to the Shadow Realm, very sad. This is equally as sad. I mean, Kevin Lee does not fit in with the whole Adderall thing. They removed him from the roster, but I read something that he will be back. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw.
But he needs, and dude, I don't like his attitude. Did you see his quote? Was this a real quote? Did you see this quote?
What'd he say?
Like, I lost to Tony Ferguson. I lost to, who did he lose to after? Charles Oliveira. I lost to, like, Ferguson, Oliveira, which are top guys, but then I lost to that bum Rodriguez. And it's like,
Rodriguez is a beast.
He's a beast, and he's, like, getting better with every fight. So that was a little disrespectful. I didn't like that. If that's a real quote, I'm not sure. But
we got to look into it.
Gotta look into it.
As Eddie Bravo would say.
Eddie Bravo. Haven't seen him in a while on the JRE, which is sad. But he's an interesting guy.
You know who we haven't seen in a while, JRE? Joey Diaz.
I think we should see him before the end of the year.
I hope so. I miss Uncle Joey.
He hasn't been on since the pandemic began. He moved to New Jersey from LA. But
Joe Rogan.
It's going to get pretty cold here in the Northeast pretty soon. So I would imagine Joey probably wants to go somewhere warm.
Joe Rogan.
Steopik and Kalabib.
That's the seed. That's one of the best things. That's the seed. But Haspila, last thing we got to talk about.
Haspila, that's right.
He and Dana White are meeting.
Yeah, big. Dude, I saw something that was like a little insulting, but also funny. It's like, obviously, he's not going to fight. But like, what if one of the ring girls, like, I saw this from somebody on Twitter. Can't remember who. Like, the ring girls held up Huspala, and like Huspala wore something that said the round number.
Or he was holding the sign up himself with the girls holding him up over their head.
Yes. Yeah, like that. Something like that. That would be amazing.
That'd be amazing. We love Haspula.
And then, like, after the Islam Dan Hooker fight, like, the other guy, like Abdu, his, like, rival, you know, like the other little guy, comes, like, from under the ring. And then, like, they start duking it out in the corner, and, like, security has to separate them. That would be an all-time moment. Like, imagine the cameras.
That's some WWE stuff right there.
It is. But don't tell me that would not be amazing. They're like, Joe Rogan's like, what's going on? There's commotion. And then you just see the two little guys, like, duking it out in the corner.
Did you see him have that face-off at the hotel with that one guy, and Hasbulla just threw a right hook?
Yeah, he threw a right hook and a leg kick, a calf kick, dude.
Dude, I don't want to fight that guy.
No, scary.
But Dan Hooker's hilarious. I just want to see how far I can put him.
Dude, I saw something about that just gained more respect for Dan Hooker recently. That was insane. What's it called? He fought a heavyweight on the regional scene in Australia because his teammate, who was a heavyweight, got an injury, had to pull out.
I saw that.
Heavyweight at welter. He fought him at like a welterweight. He was a welterweight fighting a heavyweight who had 100 pounds on him, and he won. Head kicked the guy. It was like pride rules, so they could like soccer kick and everything, which was crazy.
Yeah,
how they should be, by the way. But the guy's a fighter.
Dan Hooker's a man's man, bro.
He is.
He's the best.
I really hope he wins, dude. Let's put together a collective
MMA prayer circle.
MMA prayer circle for a Dan Hooker win.
Because that's what we all need.
We need it.
We need it. We need it. I just had a thought about Hasbulla. If you think about it, this guy has no business. Like I thought this guy was gonna die out after.
He's a force, dude.
A month, but this dude's been so consistent. Dan Hooker, my brother, I will come and smash you. Stay well.
Dude, he's a consistent force, dude. People need to put some respect on Hustler's name.
I know, bro. I think it's about time we wrap this episode up. Do you have any final thoughts on this card?
No, I can't wait. What time does it start?
2 p.m. main card, 11 a.m. prelims.
That is unbelievable. And for the UK fans, that's great. They don't have to, like, kill themselves to stay awake. You ever see the MMA Europe when they're like me watching the card and it's like the SpongeBob face where he's like
the Monster Energy and stuff like that.
Yeah. So that's nice. But I love those 2 p.m. cards because like the card's done by nighttime. Like you can go out during the it doesn't interfere with like going out at night.
Yeah. Like the Max Holloway card ended at like 4:30.
Oh, that's the best. Nothing better.
Nothing better.
Nothing better. Like you wake up on a Saturday, like 10 o'clock. And then you like an hour later, you're like, oh, UFC's on.
I know, it's the best.
I'm going to sit here for like 7 hours and just watch like UFC.
Yeah, like the Khabib Gaethje fight started at like 2:30. It was great.
Oh, great.
Dude, this is awesome.
I can't wait.
All right, that'll do it for us here for our 267 preview. We'll be back. We have to be back for a review.
Mm-hmm.
It's a must. We'll catch y'all later. Peace out.
Peace out.